Welcome to Story Fluent Path. At the end of the story, we will talk about some English vocabulary.
There once was a young girl named Lina, who lived in a peaceful village surrounded by lush green hills and crystal-clear rivers. Lina was known for her kindness and her infectious smile. But as kind as she had a problem. Whenever things didn't go her way, her smile faded. She found it hard to be happy when faced with the unexpected. One day, as Lina was helping her father with the harvest, a terrible storm hit. The wind howled, the sky turned dark, and all their crops were ruined. Lina's heart sank. "What will we do now?" she cried. Her father looked at her and said, "Lina, storms come and go. The crops can be replanted. Happiness is something you must carry in your heart, no matter what happens." Though Lina nodded, she didn't understand. How could anyone be happy when everything was falling apart? The next day, still feeling down, Lina decided to go for a walk. As she wandered through the forest near the village, she came across a strange old man sitting by a small fire. His clothes were worn, and he looked like he'd traveled far. Intrigued, Lina sat down beside him. "I can see you are troubled," the old man said without looking up. "The storm ruined our crops," Lina replied. "I don't know how we'll get through the winter." The old man smiled. But is the storm the problem? Or is it how you see the storm? Sometimes happiness is not about changing the world, but changing how you see it." Lina was confused, but she felt drawn to the man's words. Before she could ask more, he disappeared into the trees, leaving her with a lot to think about. A week later, the village announced a festival. Though Lina still felt sad about the crops, she decided to go, hoping to lift her spirits. There was music, dancing, and games of skill. But one particular challenge caught her attention: the test of the heart. The challenge was simple. Contestants had to carry a bowl filled with water through a maze without spilling a drop. It sounded easy, but there were obstacles along the way: loud noises, sudden gusts of wind, and mischievous animals that would try to distract them. Many tried and failed. Finally, it was Lina's turn. As she walked through the maze, she kept thinking about the ruined crops, the storm, and the old man's words. When the wind blew or a loud sound startled her, she nearly spilled the water. But then, she remembered her father's advice: happiness is something you carry within. Instead of focusing on the distractions, Lina focused on the water in her bowl and the rhythm of her own breathing. She walked calmly, even as the world around her grew chaotic. And before she knew it, she reached the end of the maze, her bowl full and untouched. After the festival, Lina couldn't stop thinking about the challenge. She realized something important: just like the maze, life was full of distractions and challenges. But if she kept her heart steady and didn't let the storms inside her mind take over, she could find happiness in any situation. That evening, Lina sat with her father and told him what she had learned. "The storm didn't ruin our happiness," she said. "It just made me forget where happiness comes from." Her father smiled. "Now you understand, Lina. We can't control the world around us, but we can control how we respond to it. If we learn to be happy in any situation, no storm, no challenge can take that away." Lina's heart felt lighter, and for the first time since the storm, she smiled. Truly smiled. And she knew that no matter what life threw her way, she would always carry that happiness within her. The next morning, Lina woke up with a sense of peace. She and her father replanted the crops, and even though it would take time for them to grow back, Lina didn't worry. She knew that storms would come again, but she had learned how to weather them, not with fear, but with a quiet happiness that came from within. As the seasons passed, the village thrived, and Lina's story became well known. People from other villages would come to hear how the girl who lost everything in a storm found happiness through it all. And as Lina grew older, she passed the lesson on to others. Happiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you create, no matter the situation. Moral of the story: happiness isn't dependent on the circumstances around us, but on how we respond to them. Life will always have its storms, but if we carry happiness within, no storm can ever truly shake us. The key is to focus on what we can control: our hearts and our minds. Please subscribe to this channel to get new story update. Thank you. Let's learn some English words. Infectious. Definition: tending to spread from one person to another easily, often used to describe feelings, emotions, or enthusiasm. Example: her infectious laughter made everyone in the room smile, even those who were having a bad day. Chaotic. Definition: in a state of complete confusion or disorder. Example: the city streets were chaotic during the festival, with people running in every direction and music blasting from all corners.
Distracted.
Definition: unable to concentrate or focus because one's mind is focused on something else. Example: he was distracted by the noise outside, which made it hard for him to concentrate on his homework. Steady. Definition: firmly fixed, balanced, and not shaking or wavering. Consistent. Example: the surgeon's hands remained steady during the complex procedure, ensuring that everything went smoothly. Replant. Definition: to plant again in a new or different location, or after something has been removed. Example: after the frost destroyed the garden, we had to replant all the vegetables in the spring.